How's it going, everyone? It's been a minute since I've streamed. I'm going to share the stream as always. Hope everyone had a nice Father's Day, just a nice Sunday in general. But draft season is coming very quickly. So let me just tweet it out. Tweet that out. And we'll hit up Blue Sky as well. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well this Sunday evening. I'm gonna watch some Joan Beringer, who is just someone who I've been surprised at the hype by and need to watch more of. I only charted like 4 games maybe. But now gonna watch this Partisan game. But yeah, I mean I'm definitely not high on Beringer now, but I'm open to the idea. Like his measurements were really crazy. Just seems to be quite far away, but we'll see. We'll see how he fares against Partisan. Yeah, kind of falls asleep here. You need to see him like losing ball watching. This cut comes right there. That's could be a shot, but late rotation. So Joan or Yannick? Probably Beringer, just because he's younger. Yeah, I think Beringer. I might have Yannick above on my board, but like I probably shouldn't, honestly. I think Beringer is probably just like a better bet in the same archetype, and both are like similarly far away, and Beringer is just like the younger player. So I could definitely see Beringer being like a worthwhile second round swing. The first round stuff has definitely seemed questionable to me though. Does a good job not losing the ball there. Offensively, definitely just like a rim runner dunker. I feel like a lot of people really hated the Desmond Bane trade for the Magic. I kind of like it. I feel like I get it, and I think it's going to be good. Beringer's a nice offensive rebounder, but yeah, I'm a fan of that deal. I think it's going to end up fine, honestly. Like his contract is descending. He's still 26, and he's really fucking good. And I don't think last year was his best. Dream pair for the Wizards at 6'18". Ooh, what about Queen and Jace Richardson? That would be pretty crazy. Queen is the guy I definitely want more for them. Or like, I don't know, Fears and Sorber. Ooh, nice little pass by Beringer. Just basic. Hits him right there. Just, nothing crazy. But yeah, they did slightly overpay, but they also, I think part of the extra payment was getting off of the Cole and KCP salaries as well. That probably contributed to a first or two, or at least like a first and a swap. But yeah, you're gonna have to overpay. I mean, the Magic are, teams know they're like a little desperate and they don't have the best assets. And like I said, they didn't want to give up Anthony Black or Tristan Silva or Jet Howard or anybody. Or the Grizzlies just weren't interested and opted for picks instead. I mean, I still feel like the Survivor 50 snub. Who's a Survivor 50 snub? But are you just asking me for what? But yeah, I mean, I just think the basketball fit is so good, and they so badly need another like weapon, like real weapon shooter who can make secondary decisions. I think he'll help Paolo lineups a lot. What's up, Mo? How's it going? I just think Bane was really good and is better than he was last year because he was in a bad situation with the new offense, and I don't think fit his strengths very well. A segue to the Bulls. I talked about this on Big Offensive Board. He is gonna get so many offensive rebounds. He also just like so overmatched, or he's so overwhelming physically against this competition. Um, and it seems like the Magic are like I still wish the Magic would get like a real lead guard. It seems like they're committed to running offense through Paolo and Franz, I guess, as well, which does scare me somewhat, but that's what they're doing. So the Bane thing makes sense through that lens. talked about this with, Ricky O'Donnell on his podcast, but I understand it from, like, a vision perspective. I'm just not that high on Asangwe. Like, I would definitely prefer other players at that spot. Wouldn't hate it, wouldn't think of it was, like, a horrible pick or anything. I just not particularly high on Noah as a lottery pick, and I'm pretty high on other guys who are gonna be there. But it makes sense. Like, they do need to take upside shots, especially on defense. Good job by Beringer staying down here, even though he does kinda get shook. His defense, again, it really is just gonna be a tools kinda bet. Good job using his hands. And then he can kind of a poor closeout there. But how's it going, Morgan? Yes, Sorber would be great there. I gave him to Sorber in my what I would do mock draft that I wrote for Basketball Insiders today that you should check out. It's on my Twitter and my Blue Sky and such. I like Akezzi. He's great. I actually interviewed Akezzi for Sports Kita. If you just look up Obina Akezzi in my name, you'll probably find it. Really nice kid. Had a good time talking to him. Seemed to think about the game pretty impressively for someone of his age. And I think it's a pretty intriguing player who got a good bit better as like the prolific prep season went on, which is always nice. But I like him. Calling it 3-2 Rich, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, no, I like calling it 3. I mean, I'd probably take um I like yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Conan. Would be cool with him at 3. Um Kaysen is definitely going to get a second contract. Um I would not freak out about 4 games, considering how sick he had been throughout a lot of the rest of the playoffs and the fact that he's just really good and young in his heading. He's gonna get a second contract, absolutely. Um, you can see the flashes of, like, the crazy like, this is probably some crazy closing speed, oh, like, he is a crazy tools guy. That is definitely true. Kasparis or Fears? Definitely Fears by, like, a comfortable margin, but I still feel like I'm more optimistic about Kasparis than a lot of people. I still view him as, like, a guy who has an on-ball ceiling, but just, like, more hurdles to getting there than Fears, but I still like Kasparis a lot, and obviously the size helps. Um, yes, I think OKC will give him a second contract. I think they'd be silly not to. I would be stunned if they did not give him a second contract. I mean, I guess it's hard to know, like, what the roster's, like, situation is gonna look like, but all things considered, I would be shocked if they weren't giving him a second contract when that comes. Um, hey, Kat, how's it going? Cam Jones absolutely worth a first round pick. I gave him to the Clippers in my mock draft today. I would like that a lot. I think he makes sense for Orlando's pick at 26. I think he makes sense for Phoenix at 29. I think he makes sense for Boston at 28. He's just a really damn good offensive player who has enough size to, I think, not be super bad on defense. Like, he's just a really damn good basketball player, and I think he's a much better shooter than he showed this year. Yeah, I mean, if the Bulls can get Jaren Jackson, that would be phenomenal. The Grizzlies would be fools to trade Jaren Jackson, but I imagine they could. I mean, I understand trading Bane. Like, I love Bane, but they did get a freaking haul. So I understand it. Good tip in by Beringer. But yeah, they got a haul for it. So I understand it. For Memphis, like, hard to really fault them taking that kind of flexibility, but I would not like them to trade Jaren. I think he's like a just like a top 20 player still entering his prime, and I would not be interested in just letting that guy go. All right, let's see what Beringer can do Yeah, just very little activity with the ball at this stage. Yeah, his movement skills might just be crazy. Like how high he gets. Like, that's crazy. Trey Johnson FC. I can't do it with the FC thing. I would be less surprised if Ja was traded rather than Jaren. Yeah, I agree with you. I can't do the FC thing, but I like Trey Johnson. I feel like he's a very straightforward eval, and that he is going to be a good offensive player in the NBA. And I think that makes him a fine guy to pick in the top 5. Um, but there are better options to me and someone who I'd love to get from like 5 to 7. He's very good. He's just very, very beringer out. I wish I had like rotations for this game. But yeah, no, he's just quite safe to me. While having some upside, obviously, because I think mostly of the crazy like move just his shooting is so ridiculous. And he can really pass. It's just like getting the decision making and the on ball reps to improve that. Like he's never gonna be like a primary guy, but I don't think that's like a prerequisite for him being a good pick and a good prospect. Like he's gonna be a good player. And like I don't have him in my top 3, but like I also get it. It's not one of those like I have him a tier below that group, but I don't think it's crazy to view Trey just like as high as any non-Harper, non-flag prospect. Like I get the case. Brought me around fears. I love to hear that. I love fears. I love I I love falling for small guards. But I do think Fears is really good, obviously. I have a lot of faith in him. Just a good player who hopefully is going to land in a good situation. I would not be stoked if he ended up in like Utah. I am not sure that would be best for him. I think Washington could be good. Um, yeah, but a lot of guys are going to be fit dependent. I'm fascinated to see where. Yeah, I think Fears is undoubtedly going to shoot. I mean, I have legit questions about his finishing and some of his decision making stuff, but I'm not particularly worried about his shooting projection. I think it's pretty rock solid, honestly. Let's see a beringer. He's just so big. I do wish we just got to see him in like a combine scrimmage setting. Um, Thoughts on Billy Donovan's contract extension? I honestly like Billy Donovan. I think he did a good job with the Bulls this year, like just being like, we're gonna maximize this talent by just running and shooting threes and having a good offense. Um, like I will never like be super against moving on from Billy Donovan, but I don't think he's like a horrible coach or anything. I think he's pretty good, honestly. Um, and it's not his fault that he coaches for a team with the worst front office. Like it's not, yeah, it's not his fault that Beringer Joan, yeah, not his fault that he's just like never given the roster talent to do anything meaningful. I think it's honestly a testament to him to consistently make the play in with such a piss poor roster most of the time. Okay, yeah, Beringer definitely ball watches a lot. Yeah, it just sucks that we don't get Beringer against like meaningfully better competition, but he is interesting, interesting enough to me to be worth like drafting at least. I don't again not still unsure about how high I can get on him, but like I'd take him in the second round at least. He's got quite the set of tools. I don't like him as much as Chomchi. See, Khan's measurements, I'm happy and I'm not surprised. I think Khan has been a long underrated athlete. But yeah, like the center depth. For me, it really depends on who you're calling a center. Because like a lot of the bigs in this class are kind of like weird positionally, like obviously CMB, obviously Queen, even a guy like Broom, who I like. Because outside of Malawash, Sorber, Kalkbrenner, I'm not crazy about any of the centers, honestly. Um, but like I said, I really like Broom. I obviously love Derek Queen. But yeah, I don't love the center class, honestly. Went with Fleming. I like Fleming. I did a Rasheer Fleming video that, of course, I'd recommend you check out. Just a very, very good 3 and D bet. Like I'm not crazy about his offense, honestly. Um, outside of just like spot shooting, which hopefully will be reliable. But his perimeter defense is super, super freaky. Um, Condon was great. I love Condon in Indiana. Yeah. My dreams for the Pacers are Clayton and Neek. Those Clayton and Neek are my 2 that I just so badly want for the Pacers. Um, oh, pass the ball. Okay, he saw it eventually. I mean, you can definitely see he's processing the floor quite slow, but he gets there eventually. I was typing a note. Once we find him, here's to pick shot. Is Beringer gonna get him? I like Coward. I've warmed up to him. Not so crazy about him just because I think he's pretty risky, and I wish I had just, like, a little more like, explosive juice, but shooting is really nice, measurements are nice, and I like his touch a lot, and he's, like, flexible and has, like, the movement skills that I like in, like, developmental wings, so I like him. I'm not, like, so insane about him, but I think he's a good player, and I definitely take him in the first round. Um he's an interesting bet. Like him, Coward versus like Thiero versus Carter versus Drake Powell to me are all like you're interesting. And I guess Fleming to some extent, like you're interesting, like wingy, forwardy bets. Um with like varying athletic ability and skill and shooting and stuff. Would Khan work in Washington? I think Khan fits anywhere. I think outside of Cooper, Khan is probably like the least fit dependent prospect in the draft, at least offensively. Like defensively, you can argue probably for other guys, but offensively, I just don't think there's anywhere he wouldn't add value. I think a team that has like a great lob catching big and another advantage creator maximizes him most, at least early on. But um I think Yegor's range. Yeah, he's one of the ones that I'm really curious about. I could see a lot of different outcomes. I would guess he goes between like 10 and 15. That's kind of my guess, my unsourced guess for Demon. Do I like Powell? I've warmed up to Powell. The shot's all right. I'm always wary of like lower volume catch and shoot guys who pretty much just take like spot catch and shoots. But he did some movement stuff this year, and I mean, I'm mostly in on Powell for his defense. Like his lateral athleticism is the craziest shit I've ever seen. And obviously he's so fast and explosive. Um, but his offense is just very far away in my opinion. I like him as a project though. Like again, I understand a team taking him in like the 20s or like the early 20s, even like late teens. Like the Nets have a pick in the late teens, the Jazz, I think, do, like the Heat, like those all make senses. Beringer moves most like a wing of all the bigs in the class. The I guess depends on what you classify Colin Murray Boyles as, but otherwise, Possibly, probably. But I'd say Murray Boyles is a better mover from what I've seen. But Beringer's probably up there. Next outlier development, I wish I knew. In the league right now, that's a good question. I don't know. I honestly, yeah, Beringer does in fact love to jump at everything. This is a great rotation by his teammate, but par for the course for 18-year-old bigs. Hey Camille, how's it going? Um, there's Saraf, like same, like early 20s, late teens, kind of. Just a very I feel good about the stuff that he does well. Like, I think he's gonna be able to have enough juice out of the pick and roll to be valuable to some extent, but, like, not so insane about his ceiling, Hypoku. Yeah, not so crazy about this ceiling, but he's solid. So I feel confident for Indy going into game 5 and 6. Shockingly, kinda. Like, I feel like I would expect to be great rebound. I feel like I'd expect to be Doomer in this situation, but I still have some faith, honestly. Um, yeah, I do think that they have a shot. I think they've earned that at this point, like with how they've played. And even though they lost and it sucks to blow that lead, like they played really well for most of that game. And I think they've shown that they can hang with this team, and I think they deserve. I don't know if they're going to win at all, but I think they're going to get. I think they're going to force a game 7. I'll say that. I trust them to get one more at least. Um, right now, I have Beringer ranked very low, like late second round, but I'm open to moving him up after watching him more. But still, I'm not going to be high on him. Definitely towards the bottom. Um, I wouldn't want to trade up for Dem. I'm pretty much always anti trade up, or at least almost always. Like it's just not something I generally like doing, or like when teams do. But I'm curious to what extent teams will want to trade up and maneuver this year. I believe I would have said the opposite about Ware, to be honest. His hips were always very high and stiff. That was one of my main issues with him. Um, But I think Beringer does. Like he's very his hips seem to be pretty movable, and I think he has some switch potential. It's mostly just the feel that worries me with him. But Walter Clayton Jr. a star, but I think he's one of the better ones outside of like the lottery. Um, I think if you're like he's probably a strong contender for like guy who gets drafted in the 20s who is an all star. Like I could totally see that being Clayton. Um, but yeah, Clayton is insanely good. He's a monster. He's just special shot making wise, and I think he's going to be a really good off ball player. Nice hedge by Beringer. The hedging and recovering is going to be a good coverage for him, for sure. Like the stream people, thank you, Camille. Is VJ supposed to be a high motor guy? Are people saying that? Clippers legend, Balsic, Florida State legend. Absolutely love it. I feel like now that Jace Richardson has fallen, I'm definitely a Jace Richardson guy. Like I view him as closer to top 10 than out of the lottery, I think. And he seems like he's out of the lottery at the moment by consensus. Oh my goodness. He definitely fouled him here, I think. That's for sure a foul, but great. The length is crazy. Um, yeah, That's wild. That was a great block. Um, this is just no movie about Beringer. Makes you think. But yeah, I'd say I'm a Jace guy. I mean, he's just such a good like. I mean, small guards are always hard, but I feel like people like overcorrected way too much to his measurements. He's a good player, and is just an awesome scorer. And I think he has some definitely some defensive upside. Like he had some nice rotations for blocks this year. Like he's got the length and the standing reach. Jace Tankathon Pro Bowl. Is he the anomaly? He's just good. I mean, I don't think he's like so special. Um, I don't really think of that as much of a selling point for for Malawash. I mean, I agree that people probably like value that a lot, but I don't necessarily more than like I don't know. Like I'm not crazy valuing that. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that argument. I haven't read about Beringer's history though. So Val, yeah, I feel like Jace is honestly like pretty solid, average, like in a lot of ways. I think he's just going to be a good player. Like I don't see much of a ceiling with him, but yeah, I just feel really good about his ability to like slot in as an off ball, as an like an off guard in a good offense, and hopefully add some defensive value eventually. But 2021, that's good to know. Who do I want? I want the Pacers to take Neek or Walter Clayton, and I want the Thunder to draft Colin Murray Boyles. I think that would be awesome. Getting lower on, I am lower on Carter and higher on Yakuchonis than a lot of people. So, um, I like the Bane trade a good bit for both teams, honestly. Definitely, I mean, just hard for Memphis to turn down a haul like that. But I also think the Magic wanted to get off bad contracts, and Bane is really good, and I think should be a better fit. I like Markovich. I think he's a good player. I take him like early in the second round, probably maybe late first. His defense is just so rough, and the athletic profile is a major issue. But he's very skilled and he's tall, so I could definitely see him fitting in on offense in the league. I consider myself a fan. Oh my god, this is insane from Beringer. Holy shit. Man, maybe I do have to be higher on him. Jesus Christ. I mean, he jumps, immediately flips, and definitely fouls. Okay, wait. Maybe I shouldn't. Okay. Did he smack him in the face? I feel like he smacked him in the face. I don't think he got any ball there. Let me know if anyone disagrees, but I don't think he got any ball. I think that's all face. But still incredible like recovery with his hips. Yeah, I should probably move him up a little. I'm definitely not going to be as high on as consensus. Maxime Reyno. Porzingis replacement, as in the shooting big who just doesn't do anything on defense. Payne, I don't have any thoughts, honestly. Who would I take at 14 if I'm the Spurs? That's another one I like, especially if they're going to move some of their guards. I like Jay Slot. Who else is going to be available at 14? I like if Sorber's there, that would be cool to get just like another really good big next to Wemby. That could be a cool one. But I don't know. Oh, Neek would be awesome. I'd love Neek there. It's just like a do-it-all wing that is going to be good right away. That would be a good one. I like Neek there quite a bit. All right, let's get this board, Beringer. Oh yeah, no, not the greatest. Not the not the greatest effort. Have you seen the people who are taking Hanson Yang over Queen on Twitter? People have lots of opinions. People have lots of opinions about things, and I've seen all the opinions. Yeah, I don't agree, but I know people have that opinion. Beringer, honestly, not like the worst turnover here. Like he just wasn't reading the back line. But I don't really care too much about that turnover. It's just like just like another example of his processor being slow. Like the ball should be out now, and it's like a second late. But again, that's a lot of young player stuff. I think Wolf over Queen is insane, honestly. Oh my goodness. Filthy. Filthy. Okay, maybe I do have to be in on Beringer. His defensive tape is honestly kind of crazy at times. Um, Queen is a great athlete, and I will not be gaslit into Queen. Yeah, Queen is an elite athlete, and I like an elite functional basketball athlete, and I will not be gaslit into believing otherwise. I have seen the film. I've seen him do it. I will not be gaslit into being low on Queen's athleticism. Um, but yeah, Queen is just like a huge offensive ceiling bet, and yeah, it's like Queen has defensive potential. It's like his motor is a big problem, and I don't like fault people for worrying about that. But he has like real quick feet and like quick hands that I think he could be fine. I just like very strongly disagree with the premise that like players like Trey and Sabonis inherently decrease your championship ceiling. But I don't really want to get into that. And I think scalability is becoming very overrated, honestly, in draft discussions. It matters for sure. But like I think in draft discussion, that's very overrated. Wolf did not. Well, I don't think that's true. Go look at my notes from that game. In their in their recent game, um, in the tournament game, I have Queen destroying Wolf based on my notes. I do think there's defensive upside with Queen. Yeah, like he has real tools. His hands are awesome. He can guard on the perimeter when he wants to. And again, we've seen shorter players like improve their defense. I don't think it's huge, but yeah, I feel like I distinctly remember Queen having his way with Wolf, at least in the recent game. Maybe in the regular season game, it was different. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like that game to me is like a really good example of he's just so explosive, man. Yeah, maybe I should be higher on Beringer. He's kind of moving me in this game. I can't lie. He is kind of moving me, even if he's obviously a huge project. See, like I think taking like I feel like liking a project more because you think he's like a championship backup over like a real star that maybe has team building issues is just like not a way that I like to think. Like I just think it's missing the forest for the trees, and more often than not, you're gonna miss out on getting good players. And I feel like players change too much over their careers that people box. Someone said Ben Taylor is the reason for all of this. I think his analysis of like the NBA is phenomenal, but like he doesn't do that for prospects, right? It's like that's I don't think viewing prospects fully through that lens is yeah, Queen definitely has effort issues. I can't and won't argue with that. Where do I have Noah? Like mid first round. I agree that I'm not super high on him just because I don't know what he does in the half court aside from like do open dunks, which is very good. His defense is oh my goodness. Yeah, Okay, yeah, maybe I do need to be in on Beringer. Yeah, I think Wolf is, like, more of a fringe NBA guy to me, honestly. I think he's definitely has a lot of, like, upside for sure, like, on offense, but I just yeah, am not crazy about his offense. I think his defense is honestly fine enough. Like, his Wolf can move his feet. Like, I feel another great hip flip here. Poku has been absolutely blanketed by him. Poku's getting nothing on Beringer. Yeah, I agree. If Wolf was a better shooter, it would make sense. I do agree with that. Or just like a better advantage creator. I mean, his passing is really awesome. I just feel like I've been fooled by like great passing bigs and just players who don't bring enough scoring otherwise. Um, even though he is a really great. Who are you target as a second round pick center for Luca? Um, yeah, right. I mean, you can't always trade these guys. That that is true. Like, if they're good players, they're going to be like if they're good players, they're going to be tradable assets. Like I think that's another thing that people kind of underrate. Second round center. I I mean my favorite second round center is Vlad Golden. I'm like he'd be fine with Luca. He's a good screener, good roller. I like his interior defense quite a bit. He can drive a little bit. The touch is great with both hands. So Golden will be my favorite second round center. Um, Wolf next Lamar Odom. I'm gonna take this time actually to plug. I did a. I know you're joking, but I did a Lamar Odom prospect video, and it was awesome. And I'm gonna link it right now. But he was an absurd prospect. I mean, he played before. I mean, he was in college before I was born. But he was just incredible. Like he was so much fun. Man, I I was not super high on Poku, but I'm bummed that he's not good because he would have been really fun if he was good. We want more like yeah, it's definitely looks like he's just like forcing him this way. I feel like a lot of Beringer's issues are just like footwork related, which can definitely be. I like Mika. He's solid. I'm not like so crazy about him, but he's good. His shooting is fun, and I like his physicality. He can defend. Um, I've seen him a couple times in person. He's a very large. He's a very large person. I mean, hey, out of those three names, you named one very good NBA player. I mean, Poku obviously flamed out, but Santi was like an awesome role player this year. I think that's a huge win if you're taking him more. Poku went in the like 18, 17. Like that's a huge win if you get a Santi quality guy there. Um, but I think Markovic is definitely like the scary thing about him is are the physical tools. Yeah, I mean just the being able to hold up against NBA physicality and athleticism. But he's so skilled. I am good with taking a shot on him, especially just for the teams that like um, have a lot of picks and are going to want to stash. That's another crazy one. Like his feet are all over the place, but he's still able to just like take 3 steps and recover. Um, yeah, I mean he's just eating Poku up. I mean this is a good tough shot, but like yeah, you can see the tools. Yeah, Santi was awesome this year. I loved watching him. He's so good. I didn't like him much as a prospect, but I think I've like warmed up to like real shooters at that size who have the skill that he does, which is part of why I like Markovic. Honestly, if I'm the Sixers, as I posted as I wrote about in my mock today for Basketball Insiders for what I would do picks, I think he's fouling on purpose to get out. Oh dang it! I would take, who would I take? My mind is going blank right now. Queen. I give him queen. But realistically, I would love Con there. I think Con there would just be perfect. Like, it just makes so much sense. Ace there honestly is fine. Like, I don't like Ace relative to consensus, some people, but I think he's a really good fit for the Sixers. So I like that. Non-basketball sport best improved. Obviously, soccer is a common one. I like handball, honestly. Um, like Hakeem famously, obviously, a big handball player, like the coordination, um, a Cam Whitmore situation with Ace. I still have some Cam Whitmore beliefs to be honest. I'm not out on Cam Whitmore, but I think he will be better than Cam Whitmore early. Just I think is probably a more willing passer. Yeah, no, I'd say a more willing passer. I don't honestly think Whitmore was fine this year when he played. Like, I don't think he was bad. Um, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable commenting on like that kind of maturity thing, but maybe. I I don't really worry about that with Ace. Yes, I like Matkovich quite a bit. I was happy the Pelicans brought him over. I thought he was good. I was scarred a little bit by Nicolo Melli. But we're coming to Mather in pick 3. No, I need a Cam Thomas, Jalen Green, Kuminga back big 3 in there, but someone played handball. Sometimes it's insanely difficult to find a gap to the goal. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like you need, like, it requires. I've never played it, but like, I've watched people play, and it does seem like it requires so much like precision to work. And obviously, like, I think, like, again, like the example I feel like everyone thinks of is Hakeem with his shot blocking. But I mean, again, I hear you, but I think that's just like anecdotal, like that, and it doesn't honestly like sway me in any way. And could be anything. Like, it's just hard to kind of have certainty. Sanguine defense. I can start another game. Actually, no, I don't think I have time for that. But I think Shingun's defense was very, very impressive this year. I'm pretty low on his offense. Um, I mean, I guess if he can really develop the jumper, that would be the biggest thing for me for Şengün always to like improve is his decision making. Like, his shot selection to me is very problematic, and I get part of it is because of like how bad his offensive context is and how they use him. But like, he just takes some wild shots. Um, but Nemhard has the craziest balance and body control and like lower body strength. He always had that. I actually I went back and I went back and looked at my notes from him in like 2020 or 2019 when I was watching him as a freshman at Florida. And even then he had the great like feel and kind of tricks that he does in the NBA. But I can't say I ever expected Andrew Nemhard to be this level of defensive player. Like, he is ridiculous. Um, and yeah, I just did not expect him to be so good. But I'm taking it. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end off the stream in a bit. Any last questions, comments, thoughts? Gonna have a video kind of just like going over my mock draft tomorrow on the channel, where I talk about each of the picks that I liked, and gonna have more draft content obviously up throughout. Live draft stream, of course, is going to be happening. Um, of course, that's gonna happen, and y'all will be there, hopefully. Yang first round pick, not to me. Assuming same skill, rather have Malawash or Beringer build. I mean, in terms of like mobility, definitely Malawash, definitely Beringer, but like in just terms of like frame and tools, Hallie's. See, I still don't think Hallie is even close to Luca. Like, I just no, I just don't think that's even close. Luca's just a totally different level of offensive engine, and I love Halliburton to death, but I don't think that's close. I've seen a lot of that, and I think people just like to hate on Luca. Um, yeah, Yang's defense is pretty concerning to me. I'd take him in like the second round. I do think combo of tools and mobility, probably Beringer for that. Yeah. I mean, I think Malwatch is a currently much more impactful defender. Um, but probably, well, yeah, that's a good question, honestly. Fears comp is Maxi. I don't mind that. Um, yeah, I think it's a bit different though, because Maxi, yeah, like Maxi was a better athlete, had better shooting priors, and but Fears is like way shiftier, more impressive passer. They're different, but I think I get the. I mean, Maxi was. I actually I'm not sure if I think Maxi had better shooting in the on. That's a good question, actually. I feel like you can make a case that Fears had better shooting indicators, because because Fears's volume is higher than Maxi's was. I believe he's a better free throw shooter. Um, long twos, I think, are better as well. Maxi did shoot well in high school. That is true. That's the one thing that he has well over Fears. But again, I think even at that age, like the indicators matter more to me. I still think Maxi's a better shooting projection. I don't know, man. I'm very Yaxel is not in the draft, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I don't value pre-college as much as I used to, but and just because that data is so shaky as well. But yeah, I think he definitely was a better shooter, like better shooter at the time. Obviously, I think he was much better. But anyways, I think we're gonna end it off. Thanks everyone. Appreciate everyone joining the stream. Like, subscribe, comments on the videos. Always super helpful to help me push this algorithm. And yeah, I'm excited for the live draft. I'm not worried about Cooper's clutch performances. No, these reps are good for him. I think he's going to be a really rock solid, like off the dribble mid range shooter, and that's going to be good enough for him in the end. Very confident. But anyways, see y'all.